A congressional report out this morning finds new evidence that China is subsidizing the production of fentanyl, and jury selection continues today in former President Donald Trump's New York criminal trial. Good morning. I'm Corva Coleman from NPR News, and here are today's top stories. House Speaker Mike Johnson says he wants to split up a proposed aid package to Israel, Ukraine, and Taiwan. The Senate passed one big aid bill earlier this year. Johnson wants to divide that up into separate votes. He's seeking to please some Republican factions that oppose aid to Ukraine. There's new evidence this morning China is subsidizing companies that make the chemicals used to produce the deadly street drug fentanyl. A report released this morning by a House committee says Chinese officials continued giving tax breaks and grants to the companies as fentanyl deaths soared in the U.S. NPR's Brian Mann reports.
Drug policy experts widely agree the fentanyl killing tens of thousands of Americans each year is sourced originally from firms in China. They sell so-called precursor chemicals to Mexican cartels. Critics have long said China isn't doing enough to shut down those firms. Now an investigation by a House committee found documents showing China appears to be indirectly subsidizing fentanyl production, offering tax rebates, grants, and other incentives to firms exporting black market fentanyl chemicals to Mexico. Last November, the Biden administration said China promised to help curb the fentanyl trade. This report found no evidence that's happened. Fentanyl is now a leading cause of death for people in the United States under the age of 40. Brian Mann, NPR News.
Jury selection continues today in the New York criminal trial of former President Donald Trump. Trump has disparaged the judge, the district attorney, and others. He continues to insist he is experiencing political interference. Because he has to appear at the trial, Trump cannot get out on the campaign trail.
I'm not in Georgia or Florida or North Carolina campaigning like I should be.
Trump is accused of falsifying business records to conceal an affair ahead of the 2016 election. He has denied both the fraud and the allegations of the affair. Wildfire warnings have been issued for parts of Colorado after another day of strong winds and warm temperatures. As NPR's Kirk Siegler tells us, tens of thousands of customers in Colorado are bracing for more power outages across the state.
The strong winds are forecast in the heavily populated foothills west of Denver, where the weather has been seesawing lately between snow and record warm temperatures and low humidity. That's typical for spring in eastern Colorado, though it seems to be happening even earlier in the season these days, if you can even call it a fire season, due to climate change. With another round of red flag warnings for extreme fire danger, all eyes are on Xcel Energy and whether the utility will preemptively shut off power. State utility regulators are investigating Xcel's decision last week to preemptively shut off power ahead of another windstorm that damaged its power lines, and whether the company adequately communicated its plans to its customers, particularly businesses like restaurants and senior centers. Kirk Siegler, NPR News, Denver.
You're listening to NPR News.